It's Market Day Report. We're up and trading. Markets have been open now for 14 minutes. Let's see if the corn market can break out of a three-day losing streak. We're a tick lower right now at $4.89 and a quarter, still holding that $5 mark on the March contract. The old crop contracts are anywhere from, well, lightly trading May at $4.53 all the way up to that $4.73 on the September. How about beans? Well, beans have been lower 3 straight sessions. Higher overnight. 11.79 is where we trade. Last check up 5.5. And soy meal contracts trying to make it 2 sessions higher. And bean oil, well, we're back in the red here for the 3rd day. Wheat market, we'll look at 2 of them. We'll look at Chicago first. July 6.12 a bushel. It's down 1/4 of a penny. Hard red down or is up 2 cents at 6.69 1/4. And finally, cotton market up 101 points. That's a little more than a penny higher, 84.70. Our guest is Brady Huck. Brady's with EmpowerAg Trading in Dodge City. What are you watching here?
Well, kind of like watching paint dry a little bit here. It feels like these markets, they're moving, but they're not really going anywhere either. I think these markets are waiting for that next tradable headline, the news event. We're watching and waiting for confirmation from Iran on whether they accept or reject the U.S. peace proposal. Had some fireworks overnight with some exchange of fire. But I guess the ceasefire is still on, and we're waiting for confirmation of that peace proposal. The energy market, it gets a little old to talk about, but that's really the big driver here. Do we have $100 crude or do we have $80 crude? Where's the next move in energies? I think that's going to provide some direction for the grain markets. Energy, you look at crude oil, and it had an inside trading day yesterday, and so far today we've got another inside trading day on those energy markets. In the corn markets, though, we had a good close yesterday. We bounced off the lows and rallied up into the close. Corn's dancing on that 50-day moving average when you look at the July contract, but it's about 20 cents off the recent highs that we posted Tuesday. So markets are dancing on support. They're awaiting the next move, the next headline. Today, this afternoon, Tony, we're going to get some updated COT data. We'll see where the funds were as of Tuesday. That captures the first day of this liquidation event. It doesn't capture the whole move, and funds are still estimated to have a pretty sizable long position across the board here.
Okay, and we're looking at soybeans here on the 6-month chart, but again, the 5-day look at this new crop on beans just shows you how much value we've lost since the first of the week, and really we haven't changed any of the fundamentals, have we?
Right. Yeah. We sold off, Tuesday into Wednesday and just kind of chopping around since then. Yeah. But fundamentals, we'll get a snapshot of some updated numbers next week, though, Tony. We got the May WASDE report on Tuesday, and then we've got the U.S.-China summit. Those are 2 big factors next week that could move these markets around. So pay attention to those.
Hey, and I'm going to put you kind of on the spot here, but when you look at those WASDE reports, this May report, what segments are you looking at? Are you looking at the balance sheet? What are you looking at?
We get the first look at new crop numbers for corn, wheat, beans. It'll be interesting to see what the USDA prints. Remember, they're shots in the dark. It's just a number. It's on paper. It'll get traded, but it's going to change over the course of the coming year. So future demand for new crop on those balance sheets, what will the USDA pencil in for those numbers? Where will the ending stocks be at for each of those crops? And one of the biggest questions I have, Tony, is how is the USDA going to play the wheat production story? We have a smaller wheat crop production problem in the West, and what's the USDA going to do with the wheat supply situation ahead?
Yeah, good points. We're talking with Brady Huck from EmpowerAg Trading. We'll take a break, be back with more on Market Day Report. Let's talk cattle for a moment. We are higher here in the live cattle market. And again, these are futures. And that June contract it's got more than a month left to go. But the idea is it will try to settle up when it expires with cash trade. Where's cash trade? We'll find out in just a moment. The June contract, though, is moving higher. It's up $2.50 at 252.62, a little more than $2 higher on the August at 247.95. How about the feeders? Feeders were lower yesterday, but up 327 on the May contract. Now that one will try to go ahead and settle near the index. So it's chasing the index at this point, 369.60. The August 369.22, up 305. And what about hogs? Could they make it 2 days in a row? They're trying. June was lower yesterday, but back into positive territory now. Brady Huck's with EmpowerAg Trading. Let's talk cash trade first. Does anybody win when cash is moving higher and futures aren't there?
Yeah, right. Hedgers certainly win. That's a hedger's dream right there, Tony, is higher cash and a lower board. That's basis improvement. And if you're a hedger, that's a great spot to be in. So seeing cash trade $2 to $4 higher this week, that's a good thing, Tony.
Okay, and then over on the feeder side, we have a May contract, which will expire at the end of this month. What is that chasing?
Right. The index, the feeder cattle index, that's your 7-day average of a 12-state area with average cash trades out there. Internet, video, direct, your auctions, all that data goes into the index, and that's what your futures contract settles to at the end of the month. You look at live cattle, and that's still deliverable commodity, but and we're in June is the front month. So May here, kind of no man's land on your live cattle contract, but that feeder contract will settle at the end of the month to your feeder cattle index.
Okay, and how often do we talk about this cattle market or protein market and look back at the consumer? And I guess one way we can look at the consumer is through Wall Street. So how about the Dow? Dow it's been moving higher. We're up, 127 points right now. Popping over to the S&P, we've had some all-time highs made in the S&P this month, and we're higher right now. And then this one, the NASDAQ. What in the world's happening here?
You look at these equity markets, Tony, and that's really fuel for the fire with this cattle market, and a great thing to see. Anytime you're talking cattle, you want to look at the consumer, and the equity markets are a good snapshot of where the consumer's health is, or how much money they feel like they have in their pocket. So a lot of your beef consumers are that top tier consumer, the top 1%. And with the NASDAQ on fire, these equity markets continuing to grind higher, that's a great thing for your beef market. So biggest question going forward, though, is where's that consumer going to be? And outside markets, we've got a tremendous amount of headline risk as well. So stay on your toes with this cattle market. All
right, Brady, great to see you. And go take care of mamas this weekend. It's the Mother's Day weekend. Brady Huck with EmpowerAg Trading. He's got some mama cows to take care of.
I mean, that's
well.
Mother's Day on a whole nother level.